HadesOmega here, doing a video on my 2002 Yamaha Warrior 350. Not to be confused with the Midnight Warrior, the cruiser. That's another bike that Yamaha sells. That is totally not a quad. But yeah, this is my quad. So yeah, this is actually my second quad that I've ever owned. My first quad was a Yamaha Blaster 200, and then I actually traded that for this. And I only paid $900 for the Blaster, so it's kind of like I got this for 900 bucks. So that's a pretty good deal. It's a little step up from a Blaster. A Blaster is a lot lighter though. So, what is it? I used to have a Yamaha Raptor. Yeah, you know I like the Yamaha quads for some reason. I used to have a Raptor 250, and that's a totally different quad. It's a lot smaller, but it's a lot lighter too. If I had to do it again, I think I would go with the Raptor 250. But anyway, so nowadays I don't know that they sell these anymore, but I think the Raptor 350 replaced this, and it's pretty much the same quad with some revisions to it. It looks different for one thing. The nice thing about these Warrior quads is they're super comfortable to ride. The seat is very nice. It's very, very soft and cushy. It's like you're riding on a couch. So that's what I like about it. And it still looks like an old school quad. It's got the big tall tires and everything. And nowadays quads have like really low profile tires, and yeah, it's got some good ground clearance. It's kind of cross between a UTV and a race and a sport quad. I won't say race quad. It's not. I don't think you would use these for racing. It's a little bit on the heavy side. It's still got reverse. It's got a 350cc motor, and it's reasonably fast. And I like to ride it a lot. So anyway, this is mine. This is my Warrior 350. This is my favorite color scheme for them too. It's kind of like a black and white color scheme. Sorry, I'm kind of doing this in my driveway, so I can't really get a good pictures of the quad. But I have a couple pictures I'll add at the end of the video of when I've ridden it. So so yeah, so there it is. That's HadesOmega's Warrior 350. And the reason I'm shooting this video is because I'm gonna sell this quad soon. I just don't got space for it, and I don't really ride it that much. And it seems like it's always broken. So I'm gonna try to fix it up, take it out for one last ride, and then sell it. So yeah, it just takes up kind of too much space. But the cool thing is this quad can fit inside my Toyota Previa over there. See that Previa back there? It actually fits in there. All I have to do is lower the handlebars, and it fits. So the cool thing is I can just load it in the van and just go. I can't do that with my dirt bike. So. But it is kind of a bitch to get in the van, and these are the ramps that I use for it. So there it is. It's done. I've done quite a few mods, a bunch of mods to it. So we'll go over that. Let's start with the front here. We'll just go around the bike, and I'll start talking about it. And I'll talk about some quirks these Warriors have. So you'll notice the biggest thing is these are not the stock headlights. These are some LED, I guess they're called Tough Lights or something. There's some really good LED lights, and I just bolted them on to where the stock lights used to be. The stock lights were sucky. Also, my nickname for this quad is Wally. If you've ever watched the Disney movie Wally, he's got like those two big eyeballs. And this kind of looks like that's actually the previous owner, the previous rider of this quad said she called it Wally. So that's what I decided to nickname it. So that's what they look like. They're pretty bright. One is aimed slightly up, and one is aimed slightly low, and you can pretty easily adjust it up and down. And the high beam, low beam doesn't work anymore. So there, it's pretty damn bright though. And it does have a key right there. I've actually replaced that too. I'll keep some money back in. So put that. All right, and then So that's one of the mods I've done. Also, you've noticed there's a transmission cooler or oil cooler in the front. This is a Hades transmission cooler, and it's going to a Yamaha, I think it's a Kodiak or Big Bear oil cooler house, not oil cooler, oil filter housing right there. So what that does is it adds an oil cooler to the Warrior. I thought this is 6 speed. I'm pretty sure this is 6 speed. It's not 5. That's just what the cover says. But anyway, yeah, it's connected to this oil cooler housing, and then these lines go out to the front here, and it cools the engine down. It's just an air-cooled engine. So one of the quirks about the Warrior is that when it gets hot, when you've been riding it for a while, the oil gets really hot, and it's hard to shift. It makes it hard to shift. It makes it hard to get into neutral. So so that oil cooler, it helps out a lot. It should have had one stock, you know. So this is where it is. It's a little bit exposed. There's really not much protection for it. If you hit like a branch going up like that, it could damage it, maybe. So, but it works pretty good, especially if you're riding in the dunes. you want some cooling. Also in the front, let's just talk about suspension real quick. This has suspension from I think this is a Yamaha. I think these are Banshee. These are a Banshee or Raptor springs. Not springs, shocks. I got these off one of these. I think this is from it's a Raptor or Banshee shock, one of those. It's a little bit taller than stock, I think, maybe. But they're a progressive spring. You can see that it's a little. You can see it's a little tighter at the top, and they got these Yamaha covers over it, so they're a little better than stock. So the ride is pretty good on this, but when it gets on the really bumpy stuff, then it starts beating you up. It has a Banshee. I know it for sure. It has a Banshee rear shock. There it is, and that works pretty good. It's a fully adjustable. I think the Banshee is about, it's a 350 also. It's a two-stroke. It's a monster. But yeah, so this has a upgraded suspension from like a racing quad, basically. The Yamaha's the Banshee and the Raptor. So that's it for the suspension mods. This used to be lowered, but I unlowered it because I didn't like how it used to have these blocks that push the shocks out, and it just messed up the suspension geometry. It was fun to ride though, lowered. If you ever ride a lowered quad, it doesn't want to tip over as much, for one thing, and it makes it easier to drift because the back ones just slide all the time, more than it already has. Also, it has a Mayer plastic skid plate. It covers the whole bottom right there. I have ridden this some hairy terrain in Moab, and it did perfect. You know, the only thing is it doesn't have any armor for the arms, so the arms could get messed up still. And it's a plastic skid plate. So it just skims over the rocks. You know. Also, this has a Raptor clutch perch. I'm not really sure which Raptor it came from, but it's a newer clutch perch with the parking brake. The parking brake doesn't really work very good. I actually like this style of parking brake better than the one that the stock one on this is the one where you press the button down and then you pull the clutch back, and then it locks the rear. But the parking brake doesn't really work too good out. Usually what I do is I just put it in gear and I turn it off. So yeah, the reason that this has a Raptor clutch perch system. Also, I think right here, this mount and everything, it makes it easier to pull the clutch. I could not believe how hard it was to pull the clutch on this quad when I first got it. So the first mod I did was I added a Raptor Clutch Perch and a lever assembly, and it makes it easier to pull the clutch back. Maybe I can do one finger. Yeah, see, I can do one finger pull. I'm pretty sure you can't do that with on the stock clutch. It was so stiff, I remember. Also, so the Raptor clutch system consists of the perch with the lever and everything, and the brake dealie, And I don't think you really need this, but you do need the clutch line from a Raptor. I think you need the clutch arm from a Raptor, and then this bracket here. This was part of it. I think you had to order like 3 parts or something, and I think it costs less than $100, and it's definitely worth it. It makes it easier to pull the clutch. Like I said, 1-finger clutch pull. See, look at that. It's probably easier at the end too. But, as I know, the Warrior has some monster levers on it, dude. Ain't like no little dirt bike levers. One of the things about riding the Warrior is it beats you up. The throttle assembly is hard to push. This is actually not a stock throttle assembly. This is from a Honda TRX 250, I think. TRX 250. I actually rolled the quad at Stony Ford, and I busted the lever off. Oh, fucking bitch. And I had to use a zip tie to pull the lever on the way to get it back.
Quad, or looped it or something, and the throttle got busted off, so we had to kind of improvise. So we zip tied we use a zip tie to pull on the lever arm for the throttle.
To camp, but yeah, the lever is hard to push on this, so it hurts your hard hand after a while. I had a Raptor 250, and that has a super light throttle, and I noticed I can ride that quad a lot longer without me getting tired. So why did I sell it? Anyway, so yeah, so that helps a lot with the those are some of the control mods I did. It's got the Raptor clutch, makes it easier to pull a clutch. I never have any problem doing it. I guess you can always shift without the clutch too, you know. And it has a Honda TRX 250 throttle assembly. It's a little lighter than stock. I think it's because I don't like the angle that this throttle is. I wish it was a little bit farther back. That's what I'm thinking. Because then it would make you grip the handlebar a little better. Still got the stock brakes. You can see the levers a little bent too. The brakes are pretty good on the Warrior. They're not bad. It's got some little disc brakes. What other mods have we done here? It has I got this cheap little hour meter, and it's a tachometer also. That's pretty cool. It works good. And it has this Colpin throttle extender here, but it's kind of, something's wrong with it. It's like degrading or something. I must have put some kind of oil on it. But I don't know. It works okay. It makes it a little easier to pull it, but the like I said, the throttle is like, it's too far this way. It's got to be farther that way. So, and it has this Alba fancy bling bling gas cap with a little valve thingy. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the front of the quad that I've modified. Also, I've removed all the safety limiters on this. I made a separate video on that. Check that out. Basically, there's a rev limiter for the clutch and this parking brake. It just won't rev and it won't go fast. It's like kind of like the rev limiter on like a kids quads, you know. It has a stock exhaust pipe, but the baffle or the spark arrestor has been replaced with a more free-flowing one. I found this on eBay. I don't really sell these too much, but this is pretty good. It makes it a little more free-flowing. It also has a zoom carburetor on it, which is leaking right now. And after this video, I'm going to pull that out and see what I can do about it. Also, this is part of the Raptor Clutch Perch system. This is one of the things you have to change. What else? The Warrior 350 has a reverse gear. That's one of the nice things about this quad, is it has a reverse. It doesn't really need it. It's not super heavy. I could still pick it up pretty easily. I could lift it with one hand. No, I can't. But if I use my legs, I can lift it up. So, but 2 hands, I can definitely lift it up. It's a little on the heavy side, but still fun quad to ride. It doesn't have independent suspension like some of those fancy quads, but I mean, it's close to like a racing quad or a sport quad, and it slides. It likes to slide. That's why I like it. It's got torque and it slides. You can get slideways with it. Yeah. Right. Oh, it has a a lot of the mods are on the controls on this quad. This has a Raptor. These are Raptor Footpegs. I think it's from a Raptor 350 maybe. It's one of them Raptors. There's a lot of Raptors. but I what I did is I cut this is the stock foot peg right here. I cut the stock foot peg off and I bolted it on top. I sandwiched it between the Nerf bar here. So this has some A-Service Nerf bars on it. It came with the quad when I got it stock. I mean when I first got it, the previous owner put it on. Yeah, so it's got these foot peg extensions, and I like these foot pegs a lot better because it has this swept up section here, and you can really push on it with your boot. And that's one of the things I noticed about the newer quads, that the foot pegs are a lot better. And you want to be able to push on those foot pegs so you can get to slide around, you know. Also, I think this is a different shifter assembly too. I think I had to use a shifter assembly from the Raptor also, but it worked. But I think I needed to extend it or something. That's why I have this rod here. All right, let's check under the seat. So you can remove the seat with this little lever here, and out comes the seat. It's great. I like seats that are easy to remove. And under here, I got a tire plug kit, some random bolts and stuff. Wonder where those came from. This has a Bike Master True Gel battery. It's actually a pretty good battery. I just leave it in here. I may have to charge it every once in a while, but also another thing about Warriors is that the wiring is really shitty on them. I don't know how many times I've had the battery wiring rip out, you know, and then I almost get stranded. So yeah, that's one of my gripes about the Warrior is the battery. The battery's not very secure. So what I did is I used a Velcro strap to strap the battery in, and then I rewired the battery. This is all new wiring. Well, anyway, I added new wiring to it, and I routed it different. I routed it on top of the airbox instead of it used to be go underneath, and it would just get ripped out all the time. So also there's a little compartment here. You can put tools and stuff. I don't really have any tools in there. I just carry them in the bag. That's my backpack. But I do put a slime tire pressure gauge there. This is a lower tire pressure gauge. It only goes up to 0 to 20 psi because quads really only run on 4 psi of tire pressure. So you can't use a normal tire gauge on quads. But yeah, it's 4 psi on the Warrior, so right around there. All right. Also, this has a open air filter air box. It's got a K&N filter with a pre-filter on it, and it has a little adapter here. And this is a little K&N breather filter. Looks like it needs to be cleaned. It looks pretty dirty. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for the mods. It has a quick detached flag mount, because when you're riding on the dunes, you gotta have a flag so people can see you from far away, or if they're on top of a dune or something, they can see you better so they don't run your ass over. This actually has a aftermarket rear brake rotor on it too. I think the stock one. This skid plate here, it went up and it hit this and it bent it. So actually, it's pretty close to it right now. Damn. It's literally touching it. I must have hit some kind of rock or something with that up. So yeah, there's a lot of the Raptor is not the best quad in the world, but it gets the job done. I think I don't know if that skid plate is stock or not though. So. And then the rear shock has a little Yamaha cover on it. So that is pretty much it for the mods. I'm done for it. It came with these tires. They probably should be replaced, but I replaced the front tires when they got low, and yeah, it still has the stock bars. The bars are a little bent because I rolled it, but still runs okay. There's a little ram ball mount here, but it hits the gas cap here, so I'm gonna have to move it back up here. The reason I put it down here is because when I rolled the quad, it busted the ball off. So with the GPS, so yeah, I'll just have to put it on top and then and just say, hey, don't roll the quad anymore. Or I could just put it on top and then face it backwards like that. Yeah, so and then that's pretty much it. So one problem I'm having with it right now is the carb is leaking when I took it apart. So I'm going to take it apart again. I'm going to change the bowl gasket because it looks like it's leaking from the bowl, and then just try to clean it again. So yeah, so that's HadesOmega's Warrior 350, or I call it Wally. I'll have some videos of me riding it around Metcalf, and maybe some clips of me riding in Moab. When this quad works, it's a lot of fun to ride. I'll tell you that. But that's if it works. So that's one of the reasons I'm trying to sell it. It's just like, you know, it's always giving me trouble. Plus, I don't ride it enough. I think if a lot of the problem is you just don't ride it. If you don't ride it, it's not good for the carb, you know, and just certain stuff. But yeah, when it works, it's a really fun quad to ride, and you know, I love to ride quads, but I think my quad riding days are almost over. Maybe if I get on my own place with a garage, I'll try to get another quad, but it'll probably be another Raptor 250. I think I should have kept the Raptor 250. So yeah, so there it is. He's gonna get out. Also, I have a set of sand paddle tires for this quad. I actually got them from my Raptor 250. I didn't sell them with the quad when I sold it, so I could rip up on the dunes with these. I've also got a separate set of wheels for the Warrior with sand paddle tires on it. So when I go to the dunes, that's what I put on, so I could rip up on the dunes. I actually got it from my Raptor 250. It came with my Raptor 250 when I bought it, and I kept them for this quad, and they actually work. So that's cool. So if I want to go to the dunes, that's what I put on there. I have taken this on the dunes a couple times. I think two, maybe 3 times. I did in Moab also. So yeah, this quad has been to the dunes a couple times. All right.